Bloomberg Radio. The road ahead, very difficult. That's not exactly what you want to hear from any CEO, and especially not the CEO of Tesla, considering the past volatile year. Shares of the company tanking, by the way, on this Friday. David Kudla, he's CEO and Chief Investment Strategist at Mainstay Capital Management, who back in August told us he was shorting the company, reminding us that, quote, Tesla doesn't own the future. That was David's words. And shares of Tesla, by the way, are down more than 18% since that date in August. All right, we call it a predicament, but I'm thinking, David Kudla, you call it, well, you called it. You've had some concerns on Tesla for a while. So how do you see this news, and how does it kind of fit into the scenario that has included concerns on your part when it comes to Tesla?
Well, I think I think Elon Musk is facing reality, and this letter was really a dose of reality. It really is an acknowledgement of what Tesla is facing. Unlike, some of the pronouncements to the press and to the public and a lot of the hype that we've seen over time. And, you can forget about, some of the things that have made headlines and even the internal problems at the company. This is a combination of that and market forces. As Craig talked about, they need to build a less expensive car. They set out to build a $35,000 Model 3. They're building their cheapest model right now is about $44,000. The average car in the U.S. sells for about $37,000. They aren't where they need to be, and if they were to sell that car, they wouldn't be making any money. I think they had a good strategy in the second half of 2018 was to build cars on the high margin side. Now, if they are to move to those less expensive models, they just won't make the money they need to, and they need cash. So
I mean, aren't you, even though you look at these numbers and say, okay, but he could maybe potentially pull this out?
So the third and fourth quarter, and the fourth quarter they didn't actually meet projections, but the third quarter that was really magnificent, and they were able to financially engineer a pretty good profit of $311 million. In that quarter, they were finally able to produce enough cars to meet a lot of demand, a lot of pent-up demand over many months and actually a couple of years. But that's not going to continue, and we'll see that as this year rolls out. To continue to grow that demand, they have to have more models coming. They don't have more models coming. They don't have refreshes coming. They have a Roadster coming, but that's a niche market. And without that, how many cars, what demand will be there? At the same time, there is just a wave of EV models coming into the market this year, next year, the year after. And we just think the industry's starting to go EV crazy, electrification crazy with the amount that's coming in, and question what demand will actually be there in a year or two.
That's a really good point. David Kudla, CEO and Chief Investment Strategist at Mainstay Capital, on the phone in Detroit. This is Bloomberg.